Hello, welcome to The Real Thing. I'm your host, Joe Lawrence. The Real Thing is an extension of Bergen Film Club, which is a film society in Bergen, Norway, where we talk about the film club's program, why the movies are cool, why you should go to see them, why you should come to the film club. But today, again, we are talking about Trash Filmfestival, which will be this week when this episode comes out on Thursday. And sitting here with me today is member of VFK and also member of the Trash Board, Remi.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for being on the podcast. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. Very excited for Trash. The final bits of work are being done now, and then, very excited.
Yeah. So today, for the first time actually in the whole kind of succession of the Trash episodes, we're going to be talking about the opening film, I think, for the Trash Film Festival, which will be on the Friday, so the day after this comes out. We'll be talking about Who Killed Captain Alex. You chose this movie.
Yeah, I originally I wanted to very optimistically screen Who Killed Captain Alex 2, because it has a release date of 2023, but it's obviously not done yet, so I settled on the next best thing, which is Who Killed Captain Alex. Yes.
Okay, I'll just give a brief outline of what this film is. So Who Killed Captain Alex is a 2010 Ugandan action comedy film written, produced and directed by Nabwana Isaac Geoffrey Godfrey, or Nabwana IGG, from his production company Wakali Wood, which is an ultra low budget studio in Kampala, Uganda. The film garnered viral notoriety for being a quote-unquote no-budget action film produced on a reported budget of $200 US dollars, although producer Alan Hoffmanis later stated that the production was in fact valued at $85. As of November 2023, the film has been viewed just under 9 million times on YouTube after its initial upload in March 2010. When was the first time that you watched this?
I'm not quite sure, because I watched it quite a lot of times, but I think back in 2018 or 2019, we're just a bunch of friends, and then at our school we were able to book the school's cinema, so to speak, and one of my friends just said like, I found this really interesting movie, I'm gonna put it on. I went in with no expectation, which is probably the best way to watch Who Killed Captain Alex, but I was blown away. I had a really good time, and it's now one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. I had never heard of it before, but from at least doing the little bit of research I did for the podcast, it seems like it has quite a large cult following.
Yes, definitely. This is most definitely one of those cult following movies. It's one of those, if you know about it, then you know about it, and you'll just keep quoting the stuff from the movie. How it initially became famous, I'm not quite sure, but everyone I speak to who's seen it absolutely loves it. It's really fun. It's good-hearted.
Yeah, it seems like you said, like amongst the fans, it's like kind of universally loved in a way. I don't think anyone has a bad thing to say. Before we talk, I want to talk a bit about the production of it, because obviously, like, how do you make a film on $85? But I wanted to talk a bit about the director first, because he seems like he just seems like a dude. So, Nabwana IGG, director of nearly 22 movies. By the end of next year, he will have directed 22 movies. He is a Ugandan filmmaker and film producer. He's the founder of his own film studio, Wakali Wood, and is best known for his gratuitous violence in films. In his early life, he had never been to a movie theatre and relied mostly on his brothers' and friends' descriptions of films that were released theatrically. He went for a course in computer repair but was forced to drop out after the first month due to lack of funds. Therefore, he started to learn about filmmaking and its aspects in a self-learned method with his own trial and error experiences with cameras and editing equipment, which he was building himself. At the age of 32, he began filmmaking as a profession. In 2005, he founded Ramon Film Productions, the name derived from his grandmothers Rachel and Monica, which would later be known as Wakali Wood. His film production is based in his home, where he began to produce and shoot music videos from 2009. Ramon production has involved over 44 feature films, Some of the popular films produced by Roman Productions are Who Killed Captain Alex, Bad Black, and Tibatu Sasula. The film Who Killed Captain Alex is obviously his best known and is the first action-packed film from Ugandan cinema. After releasing in 2010, Who Killed Captain Alex became internationally recognized and popular. The movie attracted superfans from all around the world with over 8 million views on YouTube. It is Nabwana's most popular film and has turned him into a minor celebrity. Alan Huffmanis, a film director, festival director based in New York City, saw the film and became known as one of these superfans, and subsequently traveled to Uganda, met with Nabwana and asked for producing a documentary on Roman film productions. Hoffmanis has since moved to Uganda to help promote Book Hollywood cinema worldwide and is now an executive producer and actor at Book Hollywood. He was also given a starring role in Nabwana's 2016 Bad Black and has been called the first Mzungu Ugandan action movie star. But yeah, like very humble beginning, I guess, and just kind of like a persistent love for cinema.
Yeah, I really like Nirvana. I think he is one of those cases where why the movie is good is reflected in the director himself, and then of course everything around the movie. Mm-hmm. But if you start with the director, this is obviously one of those movies where there is an obvious passion and love for movie making, which Nabwana seems to have. Like if we contrast Who Killed Captain Alex to other, trash film movies or C-list movies or whatever, like well, anything like The Room or for example anything from Neil Breen, it seems more like they make movies because maybe they like movies, but also they want to just portray themselves as these cool dudes.
Yeah. Like Space Jesus.
Yeah, basically. Breen, yeah. But like with Nabwana, he doesn't put himself in the limelight. Rather, he uses his own like history and story to make movies that are connected to where he's from. Mm-hmm. Like with Who Killed Captain Alex. Yeah, you can watch it as just a cool action movie about a war breaking out between a mafia and the government. But if you actually read a bit about Nabwana, he was raised, like his childhood, in Uganda during the tyrannical reign of Idi Amin, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. And he's used this in the movie. Like there's a very famous helicopter scene in Who Killed Captain Alex, where a lot of people think it looks a bit goofy because the helicopter sort of flies towards the screen and then bombs behind it, which is kind of counterintuitive of what you're thinking of, like a helicopter attacking with like a chopper in front. But like Nabwana said himself, he did this because from personal experience, he knows that attack helicopters in Uganda attack from behind. Like they shoot missiles behind them, and he knows this because he and his brother ran away from these helicopters during the war. Yeah. So there's like there's a lot of connections between the director and the good part of the movie, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like it's like he's telling his own life story, kind of through these action films, and like especially like reflecting Ugandan history, I guess, as well. Just in terms of production, like this started in 2009, and like you said, he was like using a lot of influence from his own experience in the Ugandan Bush War and stuff that happened to him growing up. But the film was shot using like camera equipment and computers that he built himself. The props, cameras, other computers were fabricated from scrap metal from a machine store that he lived beside. Actors supplied their own costumes. One actor uses a mask in the film because they portray two roles. This was a fun little tidbit that squibs were used to simulate like gunshot wounds, like physically getting shot. And these were condoms filled with red food coloring tied to fishing lines, and then this was attached to the actor's chest, and then they could be like ripped to simulate like blood exploding out of a chest. But this, the use of condoms was decided because Nabwana had previously been using cow blood.
Yep.
instead of red food coloring, but they had to stop because one of the actors developed brucellosis,
Yeah.
which is just like any other disease. Apparently, that was the only information that I could find about it.
Yeah.
But it's like a zoonotic disease that you can get from cows and unpasteurized milk. So I think that's a good enough reason to stop using that.
Yeah, he like I said, it's very clearly shown in the movie that this is a movie made from the passion of movie making.
Yes.
And like all these practical effects, him building camera equipment and the PC himself and these condom blood splatter effects, it sort of shows that he's just put a lot of effort in. Like the movie doesn't look bad by objective standards because he hasn't put effort in. It's more that he's working on a tight budget with little to no knowledge of film, but he's doing his best he can and was able to produce a movie. Again, if we like contrast this with other, quote unquote trash movies, and this is point has been raised by many people, but if you contrast it with The Room, for example, The Room is famously known for the spoon scenes, right? Because there's portraits, there's picture with spoons, and you're supposed to raise a spoon and throw it at the movie whenever they show up. This is because Tommy Wiseau does he doesn't care enough about the movie making process to actually replace stock images. That's the amount of effort we're talking, and that's why that is why that is considered a trash movie. But with Hooky Captain Alex is sort of the opposite. It's like, oh, you get to appreciate everything, every little detail, because it's like they've done so much. You talked about the condoms, and also for example, when you watch the movie, you'll notice that the drinks look a bit odd. Like the wine is a bit discolored, and I think it's supposed to be milk is discolored. And this is because milk and clean water are pretty luxury accommodation from the village that Hollywood originates from. So they were very creative. They used paint, I think. Paint mixed with water to simulate wine.
Wow.
So they were very crafty in their work.
Yeah, it's it seems really earnest filmmaking. Because like you said, Tommy Wiseau and Neil Breen, I'm sure they definitely do have a passion for cinema, but I think a big part of their projects is reflecting themselves in the best light possible.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas here it's he is just very passionate about making movies and will do what he can to make it. The original version of the film was intended for local distribution in Kampala, with the dialogue recorded in the native language of Luganda. After the Luganda trailer for the film went viral on YouTube, Nabwana reappropriated the local video joker practice for a Western audience and hired VJ Remi to provide commentary on the film in English. Throughout the film, a panpipes cover of the Seal song Kiss from a Rose, as well as a piano cover of the ABBA song Mamma Mia, can be heard. That's very special.
Yeah, it is. It's also really fun. It's a really great scene.
It initially sold over 10,000 copies on DVD in Uganda, but it's said that the amount of pirated copies that have been sold might supersede that tenfold. Generally, it is received very well by critics and audiences under the endearing "It's so bad it's good" experience.
Yes, and I also think that Hooky Captain Alex is also liked not just for the "It's so bad it's good," but I think Hooky Captain Alex is good in itself. Of course, if you go by objective standards and acting and camera shooting and technique, it's bad. But when I think of "It's so bad it's good," I think of Neil Breen, C-list movie ripoffs, Bruce Potations, but those are bad because they're sort of trying to be something they're not with minimal effort put in. But with Who Cooked Captain Alex, there's genuine actual effort put in into the movie. So then you start to question okay, how is Who Keep Captain Alex appropriate for trash?
Mm-hmm.
And I actually struggle with this when sort of writing my review for Who Kept Cat Alex. But I think it stands in a position of its own, where unlike most trash movies that are so bad they're good, or so bad that they're funny, I think Who Kept Captain Alex is more of like we're laughing with the movie
Mm-hmm.
instead of laughing at the movie.
Yeah.
Like when you watch Double Down, you're laughing because the movie is just hilariously bad, and there seems to be no self-awareness about it.
Yeah.
But with Who Kept Captain Alex, you sort of laugh about, you know, the acting is done too exaggerated. The fight scenes are like insane. The VJ Emmy who just comments throughout the whole movie is like he doesn't. Well, he just doesn't stop talking. But this is like, I think you unconsciously process that this is because they are so hyped to make a movie that they sort of overdo it.
Yeah. Okay.
While a lot of trash movies underdo it.
Yeah.
So, you know, the line there delivers in the room, like, oh, I did not, you know, all of that. Well,
overacting.
Yeah. Well, in Hockey Captain Alex, it's like the opposite. And
but I think that's like the biggest point, at least from your description and like reading about it, is that there is like a very large disparity with self-awareness with a lot of these trash directors, and it's borderline narcissism, or it is narcissism for a lot of, like, I mean, Tommy Wiseau and Neil Breen are kind of just like the biggest examples of narcissists in a way, even though I think they claim to be quite earnest. But in here is like, especially you saying like lumping it together with trash, it seems like it's trash in sort of like the sense of like it being low budget, but it seems earnest, and it's rather just like a reflection of a different production style. And I mean, not that I know a lot about Ugandan film, but I can't imagine that the industry is very large at all, and it's just kind of, how do you make a film under these circumstances, kind of. And I kind of felt like that last year's Trash, when I watched the Turkish film that we showed, Lion Man. I also felt like there was a lot of like earnest filmmaking there, and it was rather just this like low budget element that qualifies it to be trash. But I really enjoyed that film, like objectively, in the same way that I think that I would enjoy this film.
It's it sort of goes back to what's the definition of trash film, which is really difficult because that is subjective.
Totally.
Our tagline is usually "It's so bad it's good," which is applicable to probably 95% of the movies we screen. But I think a better definition of Trash Film Fest is it's just low budget movies. Low budget movies that has a cult following for some apparent reason. And yes, mostly it's going to be because they're bad. Or like you saw it as the DVD set once, and then it like became big, like the movie or whatever it's called. Like the one movie that's like recognized as one of the worst movies of all time.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or with Neil Breen, of course. But you can have movies that are low budget but are still good in some other way. Like we are screening low budget movies from, I think we can announce that we're screening low budget movies from directors from Bergen. Septiksen. Which is, you know, it's that movie is not bad. No. It's actually quite good, especially considering the budget, but it still fits under the trash film movie sort of label, you could say. Same with Who Kept Captain Alex.
It's like an umbrella.
Yeah, it's a big umbrella. It's difficult how you sort of define stuff, but you could probably define trash by the budget. And the cult following.
Before we finish up, you had mentioned that there was a sequel in the works, but I have a little small decade-long history of the sequel. So Nabwana completed work on the 2010 sequel, Tibatu Sasula, which is Lugandan for Those Who Were Screwed Over. when there was a massive power surge that destroyed the hard drive that contained the film footage, resulting in it becoming a lost film. On the 2nd of March 2015, Hollywood set up a Kickstarter campaign to raise $160
That's cute.
for the film Tibatu Sasula Ebola. The studio was able to receive $13,181 from 374 backers by the 1st of April. Tibatu Sasula Ebola serves as a direct sequel to Who Killed Captain Alex and a remake of the lost film. On the 1st of August 2022, Nabwana announced on Twitter that a sequel is in production and that shooting was currently in progress. So it's been a very long time that he's been working on this.
He has, and
Yeah.
I'm very excited for his upcoming movie. He has another movie out that's like has a decent cult following called Bad Black, I think.
Yeah.
But other than that, I haven't seen his movies. The Tebato to Sula Ebola. It's I really want to see it because if you watch Who Keep Captain Alex, I guess slight spoiler, but not really. It's there's an ad for that movie at the end of Who Keep Captain Alex.
Okay.
And also during Who Kept Cat, I think, because VJ Jamie just keeps talking about. Anyways, I digress. It's
okay.
So I really want to watch that, and of course, Who Keep Captain Alex too. I'm very hyped for.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really good opening film for sure.
Yeah.
Good choice, Remi.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess we can kind of wrap it up there. I feel like people should be excited about this. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
And the whole festival, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, do come to Trash Film Fest, and like I wrote for in the writer for Who Keep Captain Alex, if you come to watch it and you haven't watched it before, then come to watch it with the thought in mind that you're going to see a movie that sort of helps you understand why you like movies. This is movie stripped to its bare basic, and like even lower than the basics. It's the equipment is handmade, the action is improvised. It is just the purest form of cinema in like its art definition. And watching movies like this really gives you like an appreciation for the genre as a whole. To try to not sound pretentious, but I think it's true. I think you when you watch this and when you watch what you can be able to make just out of pure passion for movies, then I think you'll appreciate good movies even more.
Yeah, that was very nice. Yeah, I was just thinking maybe just to end, like, I wanted to say if there was any particular movie that you were like looking forward to watching at Trash that you haven't seen before. Like, I am very excited to watch Time of the Apes because I love the Planet of the Apes movies so much, which was a very like I didn't know this about myself, and then I watched them and I was like, holy shit, these films rule. So I'm very excited to watch that one. It's another interpretation of my favorite film series.
Yeah. I don't know. I watched some of them. I'm really excited for the Dragon Ball spin-off.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be.
It has to be amazing. I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
The effects are so bad.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
But just I think, and that's another example of like passion for cinema, is that they weren't gonna let the copyright laws stop them from making that movie.
No, they did not.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I was just me and Nabwana have one thing in common. When I was growing up, my family wouldn't get like I guess cable TV, so we only had like the standard channels, and I used to ask my friends to watch like SpongeBob and other shows like that, and then act it out for me the next day at school.
That's quite amazing.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, so for like a good 3 years, that was the only versions of SpongeBob and like Disney Channel shows was them acting it out for me at school, and I thought it was so fucking funny. So I can relate to him getting different movies acted out to him. That's very special. Yeah. Yes, please come to Trash and thank you for being on the podcast, Remi.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really needed this cerebral, big brain conversation.
Yes.
Okay, goodbye.